Month 12, March 2023, and life seemed to go back to normal. JJ had returned to school and his 2 days all had been passed over as food poisoning. He had gone back to his work with renewed vigor that he had helped out a person in distress, even if it had been Aidan Drummond, and Rafe Cameron had returned to Tannehill, hand dressed as a flesh wound but no other visible injuries, and said nothing to JJ when he came by to meet John B. and Sarah 2 days later. But it and the rest of the Pogues who had something to say, namely why it was he had come back with $100 million yacht. "I had something better to do than school," JJ told them, as they sat around at the chateau. "Not school? After our pact?" Of course it was Key who had questioned him. JJ looked at her, his heart softening. Not being the boyfriend she deserved was a feeling that had quite evaporated away. "Earning myself $2K, JJ told him, folding his arms, as if he were pleased with himself. "And you were with someone?" JJ said nothing, but took a swig from his can of beer. And after they had gone back to talking about the treasures they had found and reminisced about the El Dorado gold, and Key and Sarah had gone home, and Pope and Cleo had gone for a walk, his best friend came to sit by him. "Look man, sometimes, I get it, you can't tell people, but, me," John B. told him. And then, it wasn't JJ speaking, it was another voice, and the voice told John Booker Routledge that he had been in the company of his brother. "You found him?" John B. was aghast. "Where'd he be all that time?" "Rafe found him," JJ clarified, "and he was about to shoot him. He thinks Ward was his father." "He might be." John B. looked at his best friend, and then out to the coast of the Outer Banks. "A threat to the Cameron money," JJ told him, cynically, and cracked open another can. "He's in hiding," JJ added, hoping this was true. He had tried to see if he could work out where Aidan might have been. She, could not have returned to the Brooks house, nor overtly to his. Let it be his, if that's what she wanted, JJ told himself, his job at Tannehill. But, like any Pogue in the OBX, he was keeping himself to himself. And like any other Pogue who might want to spot a Pogue in hiding, there were signs, not least the one at the end of March when JJ rocked up back to his burned-out home and found that some of the wood had been disturbed in the outbuilding, and a $100 bill left, folded neatly, under a stone. Where was Aidan Drummond now? And then, suddenly, when he was serving a apparently loquacious Scottish customer in his surf shop one morning, John B.'s interest was diverted very vigorously to the topic of Edward Teach. A wreck, believed to be the Queen Anne's Revenge, had just been brought up off the coast of Virginia. He stated at the TV screen, which was broadcasting CNN. "Excuse me," he said, unwittingly to Doogie Morn, "I must just watch this." 88,888,888 were indeed leeching off the cooks, in true Pogue style. That was what Aidan Drummond had been doing. Early morning grocery drops, the fish catch, and camping on the beaches in the secluded spots away from the tourist, and remembering to move every so often. But he had to get up the courage to get back to Tannehill, and that's where Raymond Hamilton was about to come in. He owed Aidan a favor for covering up not one, but two incidents where he could have been fired. But Aidan had been quick thinking and Raymond had got away with it. Raymond's father had been, unwittingly, sheltering Aidan in the bottom of one of his charter boats on damp, cold nights. He had to find the skull, and he had a feeling he knew exactly where it was. So, Sam Henrys was about to find the long-missing Aidan Drummond asleep in his shed when he arrived to work the next morning. 88,888,888. "There's a bunch of letters come just now," Pope Sr. told his son. Pope was looking for the preliminary college letters, ones which invited him for a look round at the universities which would accept him to do his degree. They were due before spring break, and if the prestigious colleges were being chosen, these were sent out first. There was indeed a pile, mostly bills, Pope noticed. Some had been redirected from the shop that the Haywards had once rented, and some advertising leaflets. Yes, it was a little early for them to come, but hell, he had put down Princeton, Yale and Harvard. Aim high, his old man had always said. But no letter, except for one addressed to him. Pope looked at the envelope, turning it over in the weak light from the hall light. No address. He made to open it and then stopped. At the bottom was a symbol. 3 wheat ears tied with a ribbon. The wheat symbol. The Limbri symbol. With shaking hands, Pope used his finger to tear at the top edge of the envelope. "Did you get what you were looking for?" his dad called through. "I got one addressed to me," Pope said, not daring to pull out the letter from inside the envelope. And then he heard the scraping of a chair from the sitting room at the front of the Hayward's house. "Kara." Pope jerked his head towards the hall, and his father's voice. When he appeared, he seemed agitated, his mother appearing at the door. "Well, I haven't opened it yet, and, Cleo, get yourself in here," his father called, and Pope waited until his girlfriend appeared. She came to stand by Pope. They were never out of each other's company these days. Even his wife called them Pope and Cleo, and Pope Hayward Sr. was getting used to the idea. "Open it," his father encouraged, and watched his son pull out the letter. He read the page, and then looked to his father. "It says." Pope trailed off, and then told his parents that he had, by the executor to Carla Limbri's will, become the inheritor of the Limbri house in Charleston, her assets and wealth. "Reparations," Pope Sr. said, to no one in particular, putting right past wrongs, and then he hugged his son so tightly to him, Kara and Cleo joining in, that Pope thought the print might come off the page.